Ooh, no, they didn't, did they? Doesn't this young woman look like she's been told a captivating story by a close friend? Perhaps you're the one telling her some juicy local scandal. The young woman is Judith Leyster, and it's a self-portrait she painted when she was 21 years old in 1630. Judith's eyes hold a spark of confidence and curiosity, don't you think? She seems like she's having fun and enjoying herself. She's comfortable in her own skin and unafraid to express her identity. Her gaze is direct, as if she's inviting you into her world. This is not how we're used to seeing portraits from that time at all. So, what happened? And what changed in art during this time? And who is Judith, who painted such fun and joyous paintings of partygoers and musicians? I think we should happily accept Judith's invitation to enter her art world. Let's stay with Judith's self-portrait for a bit longer, because it tells a story of much bigger events than meet the eye. And there are some major historical events must have impacted Judith in many ways. This is the magic of art. It can reveal so many underlying layers of events and cultural changes. As we said, Judith's self-portrait is not what we're used to seeing from this period. Normally they are quite stiff and dark, portraying nobility or religious motifs. But Judith was born in Haarlem, a town of about 30,000 people at the time, in the Netherlands. Haarlem was a place absolutely booming and bustling as an artistic hub, after a long time under Spanish Catholic rule. And the people really resisted Spanish rule. Here's a painting by another artist capturing the scene when the local folk heroine, Kanaal Simonsdochter Hasselaar, a female wood merchant, is said to have gathered an army of 300 women to fight the Spanish in Haarlem. So, yeah, those were really tough times. There was also great underlying religious tension, as in much of Europe at the time, between Catholic and Protestant Christians. The Catholics believed their leader was the Pope in the Vatican, whereas the Protestants believed that everyone could talk to God directly, no leader needed. From this independent Protestant spirit, artistic individualistic expression emerged. Another important point is that art was no longer commissioned by the church to the same extent, but by the growing wealthy merchants and middle class who obviously wanted different motifs. Judith captured this time with joyous, fun paintings with bright colours and direct gazes. She was very drawn to painting musicians and musical scenes because they allowed her to show lively, dynamic moments. Music was an integral part of Dutch culture during the 17th century, often accompanying social gatherings, celebrations, and tavern scenes. By portraying musicians, Judith could convey movement, emotion, and the joy of shared experiences. Her paintings of fiddlers, lute players, and singers reflect the vibrant atmosphere of everyday life in Haarlem. I mean, wouldn't you want to have been there too? When Judith was only 24 years old, she was accepted into the Haarlem Guild of St. Luke. A guild is like a trade union. If you weren't part of the guild, you couldn't establish a proper studio. This allowed her to set up her own workshop and take on apprentices. This made Judith a professional artist, and she was obviously a woman, which we know very well was rare. And Judith came from a humble upbringing. Many other female artists we know from this era came from noble families or had fathers who themselves were established artists and who encouraged their daughters to paint. However, this was not Judith's path. And for her to be accepted without any formal training and as a woman is such an accomplishment. Indeed, she used her self-portrait we saw previously to submit to the guild and got accepted. There are sources indicating that she was already known for her talent in her teens. And we can see why. We can feel the joy, fun, and festivities. Judith was a very skillful artist and a master of colours. And in this painting, Card Players by Lamplight, she exhibits this skill with modulated and varied shades of browns and greys that breathe life into her scenes. I'm very curious about the man in the back looking straight at us. Is he surprised to see us? Is he happy we're there? Or does he think we shouldn't be there at all? What do you think? Even though Protestantism was more individualistic than Catholicism, morality still played a significant role, as seen in Judith's painting, The Proposition, and its subject matter is unusual in Dutch art. Judith captured a very awkward interaction between a man and a woman. This painting depicts a woman sewing by candlelight, seemingly ignoring the advances of a man offering her coins. Coins for what, you might ask? There are several interpretations of this painting. One is that he's offering money for, let's say, special services. Another is that this is a marriage proposal. But she's not really interested, is she? For me, the woman has the look on her face when a man approaches you, and all you feel is very uncomfortable and only want him to go away. By ignoring him and giving him as little attention as possible, you hope he might get bored and go away. It raises so many questions. Will she continue her work or arise, take the money, and go with the man? What is your interpretation? Share with us in the comments. My favourite detail in Judith's painting is the foot warmer, which I personally need very much during cold winter evenings. Another special thing about Judith is that she let children be children. Children at this time were mostly depicted as miniature adults, showing their parents' status and wealth. But Judith lets children be themselves. Judith is able to convey spontaneity and playfulness in her depictions of children. They are laughing, playing, and having a really good time. And she's capturing this perfectly. You can almost hear their beautiful giggling and laughter. Her engaging and intimate depictions of everyday life contributed to her commercial success and national renown. She focused on everyday moments and human connections that people could recognize themselves in. This is one of the last known paintings by Judith, which is a self-portrait when she was 44 years old. If you see a bit of sadness in her eyes, as I do, it might be because Judith had 5 children, but only 2 survived adulthood, and that takes a toll on someone. Also, it seems that when Judith got married at 27 years old, she didn't paint that much, at least from what we know today. Her husband was also an artist, and it's believed that she most likely collaborated with him. So hopefully we'll see more paintings attributed to Judith in the future. Judith only lived 6 more years after she made this self-portrait, and even though she was such a successful, independent and flourishing artist who made great success within her field, her art was forgotten for many years and attributed to other male artists. When Judith's husband died, her artwork was listed in the post-mortem inventory as by the wife of millionaire. Thankfully, Judith's art is now attributed to her again, and hopefully we'll find more of her art. Another extraordinary female artist, contemporary to Judith, a true old master, who was also forgotten for hundreds of years and whose works were attributed to men, was Artemisia Gentileschi. Her imagery is absolutely mind-blowing, and so is her life story. Check her out by clicking at the end of the video or the link in the description box. And Judith was also truly an old master in her own right. For me, she stands out a bit more than the other female old masters, because she did it completely on her own. She wasn't born into aristocracy. Her father wasn't a famous artist. Judith's father was a cloth maker and a brewer. She didn't have formal training. At least, not that we know. Judith was one of only 2 women to be accepted as a master to the Harlem Guild of St. Luke. She was only 24 years old when she was admitted. And virtually Judith's entire known output was produced in only about 6 years. It's a truly remarkable achievement. Imagine what she could have done if she had been able to paint for decades. We hope this video will make you want to know more about Judith and hopefully get as inspired by her art as we are. Take her joy, courage and spontaneity with you. And most of all, believe in yourself as Judith did. We mentioned the term old master before. This term normally refers to painters of skill who worked in Europe before the 1800s. But at mikonoart, we believe in showcasing women in art from all over the world, old masters and contemporary. And we're searching high and low for other female old masters, not only from Europe. Do you know of a female old master that we should cover? Share with us in the comments. We also want to welcome you to join our mission to make mikonoart an educational platform for girls, women and anyone interested in women in the arts, so we can all comfortably answer the simple question: can you name 5 women artists? You're supporting our mission by subscribing, liking, commenting and sharing our channel and videos. Or just give us an emoji in the comments. It'll help us a lot and encourage us to create more videos. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of the artistic world.